Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not enough to fill my heart. I want a river full of love, but then I know the holes will still remain. I need an ocean full of love, although I know the holes will still remain.
is going to be a little bit different. Basically, what we're doing today. This was a Japan only Game Boy Advance release. I've never played it. I've never watched anyone play it. I don't really know anything about it, other than it is the first game's story. Basically, I was looking at my stats, and I'm like shockingly close to affiliate. So, I thought, one of the things I need to do is make 7 streams in 1 month happen. I was like, that's very doable. I just have to make a few shorter ones. Since, like I've said before, Saturday is the only day that I can really do, like, full scale the way that I have been. But adding 3 extra days to what I already had planned this month is not a challenging task, so I thought, why not? Let's go for it. This is a great way to kind of start it off, because tomorrow I'm playing the 3rd game, which I have said before is a direct sequel to the first game. So this is kind of a rough recap of what happens in the first game, which will just, like, it's easy context for tomorrow. But that's just one extra stream. I do have plans as well for Sunday and next Friday, and that'll round out the month, because next Saturday is Silent Hill 4, and that's the end of September. So time's going quick, and we're getting scary close to the release of the remake. Yeah. So this one, it is like a visual novel. I'm adjusting my mic volume because that's what I'm playing with over here. I did watch my past broadcasts just to get a rough idea of what's going on. And there were 2 things I noted. Game volume is going to come down a little bit because it was largely overpowering me. And I mumble. I mumble a lot. So there was a lot of times where I'd be too far away from the mic and couldn't really hear me over what was happening in the game because I was just kind of talking to myself. So I think this game, being a visual novel and requiring nothing but reading, will be a good exercise in projection a little bit. And I've clearly brought the mic closer. It was like way off. You could kind of see it in the camera a little bit before, but also the reason I don't have the game window pulled up for this little intro spiel is because it is a Game Boy Advance game, and it keeps replaying the little fucking mandolin tremolo intro from the first game, but it's this really tinny MIDI. So I'm going to turn off my music, swap over to the game window, let that intro play once so that y'all can hear what I was powering through for this intro. and then we'll fucking get into it. Oh, this song's a bop. That's fine. We'll save it for the outro. Pause you. Just gonna wait for it to reset because it's very short. Here we are. I do also have the game audio. I'm just gonna turn it down even more. Yep. So, cool. I don't really know what to expect from this one, honestly. I've seen like a little bit of context for it, and I know. No, shut up, please, just stop. The story strays a little bit from what the first game did, and has like a little bit of extra context here and there. It's also, like I said, shut up. Oh my god. It was a Japanese only release, so this is an English patch. I don't know what to expect from that because there is no official translation. So this might be a little rough. I genuinely don't know. So we're just gonna fucking roll with it and see what happens. All right, let's dive in. Oh, it's saved. I tested it briefly. Okay, we'll just do from second file. That's fine. Great. It's been a while since I've taken a vacation. I'm driving my Jeep, heading towards the quiet resort town of Silent Hill. The sound of the engine reverberates in the darkness. Due to some slight car trouble earlier, it has become this late. I am Harry Mason. I am a run of the mill writer. Her eyes closed. Cheryl sleeps peacefully in the passenger seat. Cheryl is my daughter. She's cheerful and lively, and the occasional carefree smiles she shows me make me feel happy. I don't have very many relationships with people because of what I do for a living, so Cheryl's existence has become irreplaceable to me. Cheryl was very much looking forward to this trip. Although paved, this is still very much a mountain road. At this hour, there's little reason for any other drivers to be about. I push in the accelerator. There is no light off in the darkness. I can depend only on my headlights. Light reflects off the rearview mirror. It's a motorcycle. There's a motorcycle headed toward the same destination as we are, at terrific speed, at this late hour. With a roar, the motorcycle effortlessly passes by the side of my Jeep. The seal of the police. Perhaps there's been an accident or something. I don't recall hearing about any accident or anything on the radio. Cher's asleep. The child should not be awake at this hour. I wonder if she's dreaming about something. Tomorrow, I've planned to take her to the amusement park. Maybe she's dreaming about riding the merry-go-round. Glance over at Cheryl's sleeping face, then return my eyes forward. The lighted area of the road almost appears to be belched out from the darkness as it moves toward me. Something enters my field of view. It's the motorcycle from just before. It's lying on its side on the shoulder of the road. No doubt about it, it's the same motorcycle that just passed me. There's no sign of the driver. Looks like the driver smashed into the surface of the rocks by the side of the road, trying to avoid some kind of obstacle. Thus, that part of the motorcycle has been destroyed. Carefully check the way in which my vehicle is headed. However, I don't see anything that could be an obstacle to my advance in the area illuminated by the headlights. A strange atmosphere creeps in around me. Radio reception begins to become erratic. Perhaps I should turn back? My foot persistently pushes down the accelerator, no intention of letting off. You can no longer turn back now. Something murmurs within me. Please increase your speed some more. Someone murmurs within me. Cheryl's eyes are closed. She's dreaming. I know that I should be awake, but what is this uneasy feeling? It feels as if my body is not totally my own. It's like someone, some strange being that is not me, is controlling me. Like I am floating. My eyelids are heavy. If the steering wheel leaves my hand, it creates the illusion of setting the course on its own. Freezing cold, uneasiness, almost like being ready to fall asleep. I'm just barely conscious. And now, at my limit to maintain even that. Ah. Ah. When I saw the human figure on the road, I cut the wheel hard, and then there was nowhere else for me. And then there was nowhere else for my Jeep, and I had to go down into the darkness below the cliff. R.I. fucking Pete. Silence pierces my ears. As the wind blew, it was accompanied by piercing cold. Where am I? I can feel light faintly passing through my eyelids. I don't seem to be hurt. That much is clear to me, because I don't feel any pain in my body. No. Perhaps I've suffered an injury that doesn't cause any pain? I slowly try to opening. Oh my god. I slowly try opening my heavy eyelids. Out of season snow pouring into the town. Other than the sound of droplets of ice hitting the ground, there's nothing else to be heard. Silent Hill. That is what is assuredly written on the sign by the side of the road. Without realizing it, Cheryl and I have reached our destination. All my memories up to that point are gone. The wind is blowing in. When I take a look next to me, I'm shocked. Passenger door has been left open. Cheryl is nowhere to be seen. Silent Hill. This town, which should just be a resort area, appears to have become just like a ghost town for some reason. Maybe it was waiting for us to arrive. Perhaps the town just nestled up to us. So now I am alone. Cheryl is not here. While I was knocked out, Cheryl opened the passenger door and stepped out alone into this tourist spot that is ruled by an unsettling silence. And she left me to head somewhere. I tightly closed my jacket around my neck, set off on foot in search of Cheryl. I wonder what in the world happened here. Nothing makes any sense. The silence, out of season snow. Strangest of all, the entire town is wrapped in a thick fog. Oh shit, I got options. Nah, you go straight for Cheryl. I begin to run. Only the sounds of my footsteps echo in the surroundings. Just where in the world has Cheryl gone? Did someone lead her way? Various concerns run through my mind. Onomatopoeia for footsteps. I suddenly get the feeling that I heard footsteps, other than my own, so I stop moving right away to check it out. Through the thick fog, I can see a figure that is about the size of a child. Cheryl? Without a thought, I cry out. The figure doesn't move at all. At the moment, I begin to move slowly towards the figure. It starts to run. I fiercely chase after the figure. It's definitely Cheryl. Even though it is faint, I would not mistake someone else for Cheryl. However, no matter how much I run, I cannot catch up. Instead, the figure is gradually getting further away from me. The figure puts on speed as if it is gliding through the air. The figure appears to be absorbed by the fog as it begins to disappear. In order to not lose it, I run with all my strength, while keeping my vision centered on the figure. I then notice that I have come to an alley, surrounded by buildings. Typically, that's what an alley is. I don't know how, but it is like a cover was placed over the sky, which had provided light until now. The area has become engulfed in darkness. From the darkness, I can hear multiple footsteps coming this way. I don't know who it is. I will take a look. I am going to get out of here. I don't have anything with me that can be used as a weapon. Well, in the game, you just fucking push forward and get ganked. So, I stood ready. What are they? With beast-like rage, they've closed in to right where I am. Oh shit, that's different. And then my vitality is sucked away by these strangely shaped monsters until I finally lose consciousness. Sybil Bennett. She's a full-time police officer working in the neighboring town of Browns. There was no one else in the cafe other than her and Harry. She took a seat at the counter and waited for Harry to awaken. I suddenly awoke. Where is this place? Why am I here? Was I brought here by someone? There's no boundary between dream and reality, just confusion. As I lay on the bench seat at the cafe, my eyes slowly begin to focus. The woman sitting at the counter stands and folds her arms. She walks over and looks down at me. She's wearing a police uniform. The woman smiles a little bit. She appears to be relieved that I have regained consciousness. Looks like you've come around. Who are you? Try talking to the unfamiliar woman. Oh. Who are you is Harry. I'm Sybil. Sybil Bennett. I'm here because all communication with this town suddenly went dead, so I came to investigate. I'm Harry Mason. I brought my daughter to this town for some sightseeing, but on the way there was an accident. I lost consciousness. Oh yeah, Sybil. You haven't seen a little girl in this town, have you? Little girl? No, I haven't seen her. When I came to after the accident, my daughter was nowhere to be seen. The passenger door was open and she was gone. Cheryl. Sorry. My daughter's name is Cheryl. She's a timid person, so it is hard to imagine that she headed out into this weird town alone. Plus, I was there in the driver's seat. Since she gave me no warning, it just doesn't make sense. Are you familiar with this area? There's no sign of anyone. What is going on with the snow at this time of year? Just what in the world has happened in this town? I said all of this while breathing deeply. Afraid I don't know either. Still haven't seen anyone other than you. It's like the town is as silent as a graveyard. Left without even the means to contact any neighboring towns. I see. You also had an accident, right? I thought it was a good idea to head to the police station in this town alone on my motorcycle. But I guess I was going a little too fast. A girl suddenly jumped out into the road. I'm pretty sure it was a girl. Almost hit her. Caught the handlebars hard in order to avoid her. After that, I can barely remember anything. When I came to, I was lying in the street in front of this cafe, so naturally I came in here to get out of the snow. I found you sleeping there. I was having some kind of terrible dream. As for if I made it here on my own, I don't remember at all. So What in the world has happened in this town? What's going on with everything? Well, the situation is definitely strange. I'll head back to Brahms for reinforcements, and return here. How about you? Sybil stood, fixed her collar with resolute fortitude. I've got to look for Cheryl. There's no way I can just leave her here alone. I see. Well, I'll give you this then. You never know what might happen under these circumstances. If you feel threatened, pull the trigger without hesitating. Take the gun into my hand. I don't know. Is Harry good with guns? He was okay. He could kind of shoot in the game, right? Thanks. I hope I don't have to use it. Having never handled a handgun before, I am surprised by how heavy it is. But will you be alright? I'm not like the average girls around here. I've undergone proper training. There's no girls around here, Sybil. Nobody's here. Sybil placed her hand on the exit door. Then she turns and faces me again. Harry, don't go shooting me by mistake or anything. I haven't had any training on how to stop bullets. She smiled after saying this, and disappeared into the thick fog. Bye-bye. After being left alone in the cafe, I gazed at the handgun Sybil gave me for a little while. Then I thought about Cheryl, who had disappeared in this town. The figure I saw in the fog, that was definitely Cheryl, but she didn't answer my calls. She was quite possibly moving away from me? I don't understand. I'm getting a bit mixed up. Still, the one thing I know for sure is that Cheryl has vanished in this town. All I can do is look for her. I may not have any knowledge of the surroundings or any clues, but I won't find Cheryl if I stay here. I stood up, energetically placed my hand on the cafe door. Something's making noise. What is that noise? It's inside. It's the fucking radio, buddy. I look around the cafe. I walk in the direction the noise is coming from. Then I pick up the source of the noise. Radio? At that moment, the window glass shatters. With a thunder, and a giant bird-like creature flew into the cafe. No, it's not a bird. It's a creature with reddish-brown skin. It looks like as if it has been burned. And its belligerent pale green eyes, it is clear that my life is in danger. At the table now, we're gonna fucking shoot this fucker. Damn! I firmly held the handgun I just received, quickly pointed it at the creature and pulled the trigger. Not used to using guns, so some of my shots hit the ceiling. I limit my aim. Body or wing? Yeah, its wings are moving. Shoot in the body. That's it. I must set my aim. Its body. When it spreads its wings, at that moment, when its body is undefended, I will... It swings its large, arm-like wing down at me, and using that weapon, it just misses my neck. This is my chance. The target is its body. Mumbling, I tell myself that. However, I can't fix my aim very well. My hands are shaking. Ah, you fucking got him. As my third shot pierces it, it finally lost its life force. It fell to the floor like a rag. What the hell? This is not a dream. What's happening to this place? Only the sound of my fist hitting the table echoes in the cafe. At my feet, the still warm corpse of the creature lies in the center of a pool of oddly colored liquid. Blood. It lies in blood. After leaving the cafe, I decided to first head toward that alley from before. Black figures fly about in the heavens, as if searching for prey. I then came to realize a constant static on the radio changes based on their movements. The closer the monsters came to me, the louder the static gets. My sight is hindered by the fog, and on top of that, the weather is so bad, snow is falling. This is extremely important information. I run through the snow. It appears to have no intention of stopping. Increasing my speed each time the static comes in on the radio, I proceed into the fog. Following the thin thread of my memory, I finally arrive at the alley from before. The evil atmosphere is dissipated, and light pours in along with snow from in between the buildings. I move into the alley, and it dead ends after a bit. At the end of the alley, I see a familiar sketchbook. It appears to have been thrown away. The likeness of me that Cheryl drew is on the cover. The sketchbook. Harry. Harry, come on. This is definitely Cheryl's. Sketchbook opens. Could you say I opened the sketchbook? I try opening it. Inside the following is written in red ink. To school. Along Levin Street, I slipped through the back door of a house that had... Just skip all the way to the doghouse, huh? Along Levin Street, I slip in through the back door of a house that had a doghouse and then head for the school. The surroundings gradually fill with darkness. Only the flashlight on my chest illuminates this strange street. I pass through the entrance to the elementary school grounds. When I open the door that leads into the school building, I see that even more darkness is waiting for me inside. It is possible that Cheryl scribbled those letters. To school. Can't be sure whether Cheryl is here or not. It's just that I haven't a clue, other than that sketchbook. A guide map of the school has been tacked to the side wall of the entrance, with a rusted thumbtack. After removing the map from the wall, I place it in my pocket, push open the heavy door that leads into the interior of the school building. My footsteps, and the creaking of the hallway, they sound like screams as the reverberations rock my eardrums. I had been walking carefully, step by step, but without realizing it, I'd begun to run. There was no sign of anyone. The silent innards of the school building are dark. With only the flashlight on my chest, it is impossible for me to see any of the details. Cheryl doesn't have a flashlight, so if she came in here and got lost, she probably wouldn't even be able to walk around. Since I have my flashlight turned on, she should be able to notice me easily. At least I have that modest hope. I then notice that I have come to the entrance to the music room. I place my hand on the heavy door. This is out of order. When I open the door, I see that the inside of the room is large and there's a grand piano placed in its center. As I sit on the chair of the piano, I'm shocked. The seat is still warm, as if someone had been sitting here just a few minutes before. Cheryl's smile runs through the back of my mind. Cheryl often played the cheap upright piano in our home. It had become nice background music when I was working. Perhaps Cheryl had come to the music room. I gently open the cover over the piano keys. I notice that there is red mixed among the black and white. I try touching the liquid. It has a lukewarm feel. It's still holding heat. It's definitely blood. My heart pounds in my chest. An alarm bell. A large amount of blood spilled on the keys. This is Cheryl's blood. She may no longer be alive. Fuck, Harry. I wipe the stain off my hands onto my jeans. Stand, leave the music room. At the same time, I closed the door. At the same time I closed the door, I thought I heard someone scream. Maybe it was my imagination. I walked down the hallway. The sleety mixture of snow pounds hard against the windows, facing the courtyard. I take a look through a window down the dark courtyard. Not so large courtyard is dotted with areas in which withered plants are growing. In addition to that, an old clock tower is faintly visible. From here, I cannot determine what time the clock is pointing to. Wait, something appears to be wriggling about in the darkness. An animal? No, it's dark, and I can't see so well, but it is slowly moving on two legs. It appears to be searching for prey, or static. At that moment, the radio I'd clipped to my chest suddenly began making noise. As I returned my sight to the hallway, a sharp pain went through my thigh. When I look down, I see that the tips of those long claws are piercing my thigh. Oddly shaped monsters. They are posed like they want to hug me. Gathered around my waist. They are about to bite me. I just fucking push them, man. My right hand, push on its head. Part with force to knock it away. I push on its head part. Okay. It then totters and falls down on its face. That was when I noticed that I had been completely surrounded by those monsters. I ready the gun. I fix my aim on their heads, pull the trigger with my trembling index finger. I continue to shoot as each one of them appears. Smoke from the gunpowder began to fill the air around us. Smoke from the gunpowder began to fill the air around me, so I placed one hand over my mouth. Even after the noise from the radio had stopped, I could only stand there, paralyzed in utter amazement among their corpses. Is Cheryl all right? She shouldn't have been carrying anything that could be used as a weapon. I begin running. I can't just stand around. There's not a moment to lose. Cheryl is waiting for me. Wait a minute. Suddenly my vision became hazy or something. I rub my eyes. When I look back, I see that all the bodies of the monsters have unexpectedly vanished. What? Was I hallucinating or something? I pull the guide map out of my inner pocket, shine the flashlight on it. Then I confirm that there is a boiler room located in the basement. My feet naturally began to take me there. I descended the stairs to the basement, taking one step at a time. A school building without light. As I move forward, I am beset on all sides by absolute darkness. As I head towards new fear and new enemies, my feet have no intention of stopping their advance. Oddly enough, I don't have a sense of justice. I just want to make sure that Cheryl is safe, to catch her in my arms. That is my only goal. The boiler's not running. If I simply press the switch in front of me, then this eerie machine should begin operating. However, I just stand still. I try pushing the switch, but the boiler doesn't do anything at all. So I try opening the switchboard, covered below the switch. It appears that I must somehow supply power from the main power supply to the boiler. Power supply is on the right. From the left of the switchboard, a thick pipe extends out and is connected to the boiler. Oh shit, I have a whole fucking puzzle? Dude, there's more to this game than I thought. So start here. That's really it. Got it. There's more game to this than I thought. I know that's not much. I did not expect to have, like, dialogue options. And I definitely did not expect to have a little minigame. I mean, like, to be fair, I don't play visual novels, so I have an instinctive feeling that by pushing this switch, something outrageous may happen. Although at the same time, I also notice my daughter Cheryl's scream run through my heart, like a sense of duty that makes me feel that I must push the switch. Slowly push the switch in. The entire school building shudders, as if it were a giant ship. The entire elementary school building appears as if it has been swallowed by Cheryl's heart. She stands alone in the darkness. I understand that I must do something. To the courtyard. The darkness softly whispers to me. The clock tower looks to be about tall enough to reach the third floor of the school. At its base, there's a small door about big enough for an adult to enter. For an adult to enter while bent down. The door solemnly opens. After opening, the door seems to beckon the one standing in front of it to enter with an irresistible mental energy. I cannot resist that power. As I enter, the door closes with a hopeless thunder. Inside the clock tower, a physiologically loathsome stench hung in the air. However, the smile of my beloved daughter in my heart lessens my uneasiness and lets me forget my fear, if even for only a moment. Reassured, I place my foot on the ladder leading underground, with my greatest motive called love. The inside finally became a small passage, about large enough for an adult. I run, trusting that I will see her smile ahead. I run forward, stomping on concrete, stained with the smell of death. Once I climb the ladder at the end of the tunnel, there will be no going back. I mutter Cheryl's name one more time. The depressing sound of the door closing echoes throughout the courtyard. Where am I? A raw, warm breeze brushes past my cheeks. The view lets me know that this is like a completely different world from the school I was just in. Once I regain, once again, once I again, I think. Once again, I think, where am I? I descend the small stairs, leading away from the clock tower, and become even more convinced. An extremely religious looking design has been drawn in the center of the courtyard. Within a large double circle, a triangle has been placed. Within that, a strange pattern that looks like hieroglyphics is drawn. Don't remember this being here before. This is definitely the school I was just in. The placement of the trees, and the construction of the building. However, an overpowering feeling of nausea rises up throughout my body. A revolting, horrible smell, like that of the stench of cutting into rotten meat, thickly wafts throughout the air. It is nearly visible to the eye. Ugh. I begin to run. I can no longer bear to stay in this spot. By the time I place my hand on the door that leads inside the school building, I no longer have the strength left to tell how long I was running. Maybe it was only for an instant? The school building has dramatically changed. Metal grated floors, blood covered walls, corpse like puppets hanging everywhere. It's like a nightmarish scene in which everything is isolated from the real world. In spite of that, I run. I am searching for Cheryl. The unpleasant metallic sounds of my footsteps resonate throughout the inside of the school. And then I open the door to the teacher's room. Perhaps the door is not installed correctly, as it took me several forceful tries to force it open. Once I enter the room, I am shocked. Desks are strewn about, and a raw, rotten stench rules the room. Call the police? Yeah, call the police. Right? No? Call home? Call home is creepier. What happens? Without knowing why, I dialed my home number, where no one should be. Maybe there's a chance that Cheryl has already returned home. Slight hope. Phone is ringing. The mechanical electrical sound repeats over and over. All of a sudden, it stopped. Hello? The voice of a man I do not know escapes from the receiver. Hello? Who is this? From the receiver, I hear a gasp. Ah. It was creepy. The phone went dead. I stood, bewildered, for a bit with the receiver pressed against my ear. There's a man in my house. No one should be. A man I don't know. I gently hang up the receiver. For a bit, I am captivated by that blue telephone. I begin to leave the room. My heart rapidly contracts. The mechanical bell sound echoes throughout the room. I nervously approach the telephone. Once again, I pick up the receiver. Daddy? Help me. It's Cheryl. There's no mistaking it. I firmly press the receiver against my ear. Daddy, where are you? Cheryl? Is this Cheryl? At that moment, Cheryl's voice is replaced with a busy signal. I knew it, I think. Cheryl is here. Being located in the residential area, many children probably come to this school. The interior of the elementary school is larger than I imagined. Including classrooms, there are a lot of rooms, so locating Cheryl will be extremely difficult. If Cheryl wasn't brought here by someone and instead came here of her own free will, then perhaps she might be in that one room. What one room? I spin around, run to the stairs at the end of the hall, and sprint up them. I've come to the library. My eyes are drawn to the open book here. I pick what it is? I mean, I know it was a children's book. I pick up the book and see an abstract illustration of a youth carrying a bow and arrow on its cover. Someone has been reading this book. I begin to read the book from the beginning of the page it was left open to, in a quiet voice. Hearing this, the hunter armed with bow and arrow said, I will kill the lizard. But upon meeting his opponent, he held back, taunting. Who's afraid of a reptile? At this, the furious lizard hissed. I'll swallow you up in a single bite. The huge creature attacked, jaws opened wide. This was what the man wanted. Calmly drawing his bow, he shot into the lizard's gaping mouth. Effortlessly, the arrow flew, piercing the defenseless maw, and the lizard fell down dead. This is from an old fairy tale. I remember reading it as a kid. As I say this, I take a step back, as if I have realized something. Wait, I think. I become gripped with the sense that my actions have been controlled by someone this entire time. Coming to the library, seeing that specific page in the open book, even whatever it is that I must do now, it is a decision that is out of my hands. Everything that has happened has been in someone's hands. I have gradually come to understand this. Even still, I probably cannot determine my own course. I accept the direction of the unseen one, to whom I must obey. In order to find Cheryl, there is no other alternative. Is this fourth wall breaking? I now know where it is I need to go. As I journey there, I walk firmly, stepping forward one step at a time. I descend a staircase from which uncomfortably warm air flows, and find an elevator at its base that invites me to descend even further. As its doors slowly open, once I enter, its doors close, and in the next moment, with a rusty clunk sound, the elevator begins to descend at a high rate of speed. Just how far down is it going? All I can do is go with the flow. Gradually, the elevator and I are enveloped in a hot, humid air. The elevator stops. I step off as its doors open. Beyond a short passage, a dazzling light emitted from a small room. A small room which has been waiting for my arrival. The center of the fires. In the center, the fires of hell burned, and everything made it look like this room was meant for prayer. And then, it was there. It slowly moved around the enormous sconce from which flames and ash rose. The blizzard looks to have suddenly mutated. Its outer shell is a mucous membrane type. It just stares at me, and with surprisingly comfortable speed, it looks for a chance to attack. Yeah, just run. Just run. I was overwhelmed by its size. I've got to escape. I don't stand a chance with the feeble weapon in my hip pocket. I look for an escape route. However, the entrance I came through is now closed by a thick, solid metal fence, without any opening which I could slide through. I can't escape. At that moment, part of my memory was suddenly awakened. In the library. I remember that book I just picked up not too long ago. Its contents run about in my head. While paying very close attention to the movement of my opponent, I recall its passages. Effortlessly, the arrow flew, piercing the defenseless maw, and the lizard fell down dead. All I could do was draw my opponent closer. Each bullet that hits its body only seems to increase its strength. I'm running. My entire body is soaked in sweat. The heat from the flames and the large amount of perspiration are working together to rob me of my emotional strength. Then, my feet finally get tangled, and I fall to the bone-dry floor with a thud. What? My supply of bullets is running out. This is my limit. I turn around. Its enormous mouth is there, measuring about 4 meters, and open in all directions. It was only for an instant, but I thought of the passage again. The arrow flew, piercing the defenseless maw. Fire into its mouth. I can no longer hesitate. I ready the gun as calmly as possible, aimed at the inside of its mouth, and quickly pulled the trigger. Over and over, the sound of gunshots rang out from my weapon for as long as I had ammunition. Then I lost consciousness. When I came to, I found myself in the middle of a dark room. Where is this? I wondered to myself. The monster from before has vanished. I heavily stood up and then waited motionless for a bit until my eyes came into focus. Somehow this looks to be the boiler room. It's oddly quiet. Maybe I was dreaming? My very exhausted body seems to have also recovered somehow. The low hum of the boilers strangely calms my nerves. And then I sense the presence of a person and shift my gaze. There was a girl standing there. She was wearing dark blue clothing, and her light brown hair was neatly combed. The girl was just staring right at me. Once I noticed her and began to step towards her, she completely disappeared, as if her body just dissolved into the air in the room. I was alone in the room again. What was that? A strange feeling of relief. After standing for a bit, I let out a long breath and then placed my hand on the door at the entrance. Sunlight shining into the hall of the school building. As usual, snow is still outside, but I am gripped with a strange feeling of relief, as if cancerous cells had just been removed from me. Filled with relief, I slowly walk toward the exit of the school. Then I learn that Cheryl is not here. From the loud sound of the church bells, it seemed to call out to me. I begin to run toward the church, on a road half covered in mud. Snow falls above my head. So much freezes my hair as chilly air flows by. When I reach the church, I push open the heavy door without hesitation. You. The cross is mounted on the front wall. Long benches are lined up on both sides of a small walkway. It was as if time had stopped for this familiar style church. In front of the altar, a sly-looking woman with cold eyes looks down at me with an eerie grin. As I walked up to her, stepping one step at a time, she gazed at me without blinking. She looked as if she had predicted that I would arrive. You were ringing that bell? The woman snorted with a humph. I've been expecting you. It was foretold by gyromancy. What are you talking about? I knew you'd come. You want the girl, right? Girl? You're talking about Cheryl. My eyes grew wide. I see everything. You know something? Tell me. Stay back. The woman held the palm of her hand out at me and then lowered her chin in a way that suggested, please calm down. Nothing is to be gained by floundering about at random. You must follow the path of the hermit concealed by flowers. What are you talking about? I asked once more without hiding my bewilderment. Here, the flowers, cage of peace, can break through the walls of darkness, counteract the wrath of the underworld. These will help you. Make haste to the hospital before it's too late. The woman held up a strange object and softly placed it on the desk on top of the altar. Wait! Don't go yet! Yeah, just believe her, right? Why not? She lives here. I choose to believe her story without objection. All that remains in the church is the reverberations of the sound of a door closing. I go after that woman. I am convinced that that woman definitely knows some secret of some sort. However, the knob of the door that she went through will not turn at all. It must be locked from the other side. Damn! Now I'm the only one left in the church. Almost as if taken from a nightmare, this space has heat. This warmth, it feels like it is protecting me from something. That is the best way to describe the heat. Like a blanket. I move away from the door and begin walking to the altar that woman was at. The object that the woman was just holding has been placed there. The flowers. That is certainly what that woman had called this. I try picking it up, and then I place it back on top of the desk right away. It is power. The overwhelming power of the gods rests inside this four-sided object. There was a sensation like an electric current passing into the palm of my hand. Then power moving through every nook and cranny in my body. I pick it up once more. This time, I calmly take it into my hands and then place it in my pocket. For some reason, I am convinced that this object will help me find Cheryl. I pick up the key that was next to the flowers, open the door of the church, and rush out into the heatless snow world again. Hospital? That woman certainly said something about one. Alchemia Hospital. The only hospital I could find on the map was that one. I could see my breath as I exhaled while I headed toward the entertainment district. The bridge to the entertainment district has been raised so that boats can pass by in the river below. In other words, it is split in the middle and is fixed in a raised position that makes it look like the Japanese katakana. Okay, thanks. I enter the nearby drawbridge control room, place the key I was holding into the control panel, and forcefully turn it to the right. While emitting a sound like an old woman laughing, the bridge finally begins to lower, inviting me to the entertainment district. After crossing the bridge, I shudder. The temperature is gradually declining. Or maybe it's just a result of the thing inside me that produces nervousness and fear. On this wide road, there's not a single motorcycle running. Okay. Just motorcycles? Just motorcycles. I am running right down the center of it. If I continue forward, Alchemia Hospital should be on the right. An old building appears in the thick fog. On the signboard, Alchemia appears in faded letters. Its eeriness caused me to hesitate for an instant, but in the next moment, I place my hand on the cold gate. I open the heavy hospital gate, and then open the door directly to the right that has entrance written on it. The inside of the hospital is wrapped in silence. To the left, there is a reception area, in which various papers are neatly placed on a shelf. Waiting benches are lined up along the back of this hall, and a television is pointed at them. I do not feel the presence of any patients, or even any people. Only faint light pours in through the windows from the cloudy sky. The hall is filled with a trace scent of alcohol, which penetrates my nose. I begin walking. After passing through the waiting room, I reach a long corridor. I open the door marked examination room. At almost the exact same time as I opened the door, a man inside jumped up out of his chair. He's holding a handgun in his right hand. Just hide. Wait! I hold my right hand out to try and stop the man. Hold it! Stop! Don't shoot! Wait, I'm not here to fight. The man calms down and lowers his readied right arm. My name is Harry Mason. I'm in town on vacation. I said all of this without pausing. Then the man took a deep breath and began to speak. Thank God. Another human being. Do you work here? I was truly relieved. Silent Hill, which has become a habitat for strange monsters. Those words showed his candid questioning of the situation. I'm Dr. Michael Kaufman. I work at this hospital. So maybe you can tell me what's going on. The man who called himself Kaufman once again stirs in the chair he is sitting in. I really can't say. I was taking a nap in the staff room. When I woke up, it was like this. Everyone seems to have disappeared. It's snowing out. This time of year. He looks off at the floor of the examination room. There, on the floor, the corpse of a still warm monster lay on its side. Something's gone seriously wrong. Did you see those monsters? Have you ever seen such aberrations? Ever even heard of such things? You and I both know creatures like that don't exist. Yeah. Then I turned to face him as I realized something. Have you seen a little girl anywhere? I'm looking for my daughter. She's only 7. Short, black hair. She's missing. Sorry. With all those monsters around, I highly doubt that she's... Sorry, I didn't mean to alarm you. Your wife, she's here with you? She died 4 years ago. Now it's just me and my daughter. I see. I'm sorry. Well, I'd better be going. I can't just sit around here doing nothing. So long. Good luck out there. Bang. The examination room door shuts powerlessly. Dr. Michael Kaufman. Oddly enough, I have completely memorized that name. Huh? I suddenly noticed that there is something on the floor. It looks like a white scrap of paper. What is this? I pick it up. Letters have been disorderly scribbled on it. Arrival tomorrow morning. Be prepared. What is this? Yeah, just check to see if there's anything else. I carefully look around on the floor, but it doesn't appear that anything else interesting has been dropped. I look all around the examination room. Up until a short time ago, this was just a normal room in a hospital. Its various instruments and tools all about. Each aptly appeared per function, arranged per function. Only people have been erased from this normal scene, making the situation unnatural. I leave the examination room. I pass through the medicine room and reach a planked floor corridor that silently extends in an L shape. I moved forward and found that there was an elevator with a large door at the end of the corridor. I try pressing the buttons beside it. Nothing happens. It looks like the power is off. There are several doors in the corridor. I begin opening each one in order. I open the door marked meeting room. Heading inside, close head inside and close the door behind me. A large table rests in the center of this room, and I notice that there is something glittering on top of it. Grasp the light green key, leave the room, and once again step into the chilly corridor. Next room looks to be the kitchen. I guess that the food for patients is probably prepared here. Various bronze cooking utensils are neatly arranged in order on the stainless steel countertop. It does not appear that anything terribly important is in here. I carefully look through the various cooking utensils. Inside a large pot, there is nothing at all. While continuing to search to see if there might be some clue here or not, I notice that on the far wall, various objects have been scattered about. I carefully move forward on the wet floor, as not to slip. Something is there. I reach out my hand toward the thing in front of me. Pet bottle? Kitchen knife. I already have a gun, and the knife in the game sucks. And I use the bottle to save Sybil, so, you know. I move past one of the sinks and notice an empty pet bottle sitting on the end of the counter. Perhaps this might come in handy for something. I mutter this and grab the empty pet bottle. Then I leave the kitchen. After leaving the kitchen, I head right and place my hand on the first door that I come to. I notice the words Director's Office out of the corner of my eye. And I open the door. From inside the room, a strong stench overflows outward. It causes me to feel dizzy. Someone has ransacked the room. Behind the desk that probably belongs to the director, several bottles have been broken, leaving red and blue liquid spilled all over the floor. If I use the pet bottle... Oh. Uh-oh. That's different. Interesting. I don't know what'll happen. What if we try purple? I get out the pet bottle and use a fragment of the bottom section of one of the broken bottles to pour the purple liquid into it. The sticky liquid drips into the pet bottle. The last drop lingered, but once it finally hit the surface of the liquid already inside the pet bottle, I tightly closed the cap and then left the director's office. I crept out into the corridor once more and stood in front of the door that was closest to the elevator. I opened the door, and the reverberations of the sound of it opening and then closing shake my eardrums. The walls are made of concrete, and a few steps in, the staircase leading to the basement extends like the folds inside the body of a snake. It is dark and difficult to see, but it looks like there is a door at the bottom of the staircase. Be brave, I mutter to myself. Leaving only the echoes of my footsteps, I descend the staircase to hell, one step at a time. And when I open the door leading to darkness, I could see that the electricity was most likely out in the entire hospital. I pressed the switch on the flashlight on my chest and tried lighting the area. It is creepy, and yet there is nothing noticeably out of place. Chilly air drifts from the cold concrete, and it seems as if touching it would completely rob my body of its warmth. While moving through the corridor, I try opening the doors as I come to them. Of them, one opens with a creak. Emergency generator is written on the machine that occupies most of the room. To reach the second floor and above, it did not look like there was any method other than using the elevator. So without hesitation, I turned the machine on. I immediately head for the elevator. I press the up button. The heavy sound of the motor and the sounds of metal parts coming into contact with each other almost sound like intertwined screams. With a ding, the elevator stops, but its doors slowly open. The inside of the elevator is large. It seems to be about big enough to accept 3 hospital beds. Buttons for each floor are lined up to the right of the elevator door. They are marked 3, 2, 1, and B from the top down. First, I head to the second floor. However, after I step off the elevator, I find that the door connected to the corridor that leads to the rooms on this floor is locked. With no alternative, I try heading to the third floor, but I find that it is in the same state. Well, what now? I've already tried moving to every floor. With nothing else to do, I re-entered the elevator and could not believe my eyes. Of the buttons for each floor, 3 was definitely the highest floor just before. In spite of that, a new 4 button has been added. The elevator doors open with a familiar sound, and I step out on to the 4th floor. Again, I think. A condition extremely similar to that which I encountered after passing through the basement in the clock tower of the elementary school was present right in front of me. Dark, red, rusted walls, metal grated floors, and a ringing in my ears that seems to creep up from the depths of hell is a menace to my mental state. I open the door in front of me, and a long corridor extends beyond it. I very carefully move forward, while keeping my eyes fixed on the wall. Could Cheryl be here? The only way to find out is to search this place. Huh. I hear something in the darkness in front of me. It sounds like the groan of something dragging on the ground. The owner of that groan is slowly closing in on me, but I cannot see what is for sure. I cannot see what it is for sure with the faint light of my flashlight. I instantly leave. Do I leave? Do I ready? Let's shoot it. It's probably not human. I firmly grip the gun, position my finger on the trigger, and begin to walk towards it. The gun readied beside my face. Eventually, something white enters my field of vision. I adjust aim, flashlight on my chest, my hand. I adjust aim flashlight on my chest with my hand and shine light on it. A white figure appeared, which just stooped over like an old woman. It looked to have undergone a grotesque change. The monster has a very large hump on its back, which twitches and moves as if it were alive. In one hand it holds a knife, which it waves as it approaches me. The instant I readied my gun, the monster began to run. By the time I realized this, it slashed at me. I instantly dodged the attack. Thanks to that, my clothes were slashed, but I had only a scratch on my side. I suppose I was lucky. Damn! I kick it in the face with the bottom of my shoe, and it falls down on its back. It then begins to stand for its next attack. Close my left eye, and steady my aim. Even after one shot hits, its movement does not change at all. I fire more bullets at it. It is laughing. In a voice great enough to shake the entire world, it laughs as its face twists and distorts. Cannot give up. When the final bullet loaded into my gun hits it. When the final bullet loaded into my gun hits, it finally stops laughing. This time, it is face down, and I begin crushing it with my foot. Finally, it completely stops moving. This is insane. Another monster approaches from behind, the corpse of the first one. At this rate, all the bullets in the world would not be enough. All I can do is run. Push forward. Let's go. I begin to run towards the monster in front of me. Evading the large swings of its knife, I run down the dark corridor, occasionally stumbling. I see a staircase leading down. I race down it, knowing not whether if something is waiting for me or not at its base. I'm thinking about Cheryl. Even if she is held prisoner somewhere in this hospital, there's no guarantee that I can rescue her. In fact, there's no reason that the staircase I am descending should lead me to Cheryl. I begin to think that all my current actions are all meaningless. However, generally speaking, since I arrived in Silent Hill, since the day before leaving for Silent Hill, even longer ago, since the day I met Cheryl, perhaps I have had no choice in my actions. They have been determined by someone's will. As I continue to the base of the staircase, I contemplate, what if my life up to this point had just been on one track? As I descend the stairs, my ears began ringing again. The ringing is so forceful that it cannot even be compared to before, and it forces me to squat down. What in the world has happened? Perhaps I have opened a door to hell, a door that should never be opened. Something is clearly changing, and it is for the worse. Going back will not be permitted. I must move forward. Forward. I put my hands together on my head, and then squeeze my temples tightly by using my elbows. The ringing then begins to sound like a demon is whispering in my ears. However, it doesn't stop. I blindly begin to run. Even if I am to die in this mad land, I must save my beloved Cheryl first. Believing that the answers are beyond the door, I know that I must discover at least one clue. Several overlapping square figures, are shaking in time with the sound of my heart. It is the walls at the end of the area. Another wall lies perpendicular to it. There is a door present on this wall, with a plate on it that says storehouse. Some chemicals have been placed on the table. It is next to the door. There are 3 beakers of different sizes and a test tube. The test tube contains liquid that is a different color to that which is in the leftmost beaker. I found a memo. To create it, you must come up with 1 deciliter of liquid and pour it into the test tube. No more, no less. That man has said. But there are no graduations on the beakers. This makes it impossible to come up with 1 deciliter using these 3 large beakers. Is this instructions for me? Yes, it is. D-pad, select a beaker, contains liquid, and then confirm. Choose the beaker that you wish to move the liquid to and press A. 10 deciliter, 7 deciliter, and 5 deciliter beakers. You must create an amount of exactly 1 deciliter. Oh, this is gonna fucking suck. Liquid! The door won't budge an inch. Okay, so if I pour... How the fuck am I gonna do this? I can't do math. Even basic math. That'll leave me with 5. And what? I need to make one of these 1 deciliter. That will be 8. And then that will be 1. We've done it. That's not translated. Harry melted the chain on the door with the completed liquid. The door slowly opens with a click. Inside the storehouse, nothing important looking stands out. Carefully edged between simple metal shelves that have been placed here in a specific arrangement. However, nothing is here that makes this room worthy of being called a storehouse. I'm drawn towards the cabinet in the back of this room. This is because I found the presence of the wooden cabinet strange and unsuitable for this simple room. I approach the cabinet and try to open it. However, it will not budge. Look at the floor. There is an important clue inside the cabinet, and I should be able to open it right away. But then I gradually come to understand that there is no need to do so. The necessity of the cabinet here is thin, as anything could be used to satisfy the requirement. What does that mean? If something is needed to block my path, then a bunch of stones could work just as well. I thought this as I looked at the scratches on the floor that were the same shape as the same width as the cabinet. The marks on the floor are still fresh. They tell me that some other human probably came down here. Is there something beyond this cabinet? Using my body weight, I slowly push the cabinet from its original position. The existence of the inviting door behind the cabinet seems completely natural, so of course, I place my hand on it. The room is very inorganic. While shining my flashlight about, I move through the room and eventually discover a grate in the floor. From between the bars in the grate, I can see a staircase that leads to a lower floor. The grate makes a clunk sound as I open it. It is quite heavy. Even though I am sure of my strength, I do not believe that I could pick it up. After opening the grate enough so that I can pass through it, I gently place one foot on the staircase that has appeared. Slowly and cautiously, confirming each step as I go, I descend the staircase to a mad place in which light cannot reach. Finally, I reach a wide room, much wider than I imagined. I guess this based on the echoes of my footsteps. Run. I am running. Through this eerie space that lies in the basement of the hospital. It is lifeless, and there is no light. All I can do is run through it. Does this world have an end? Or did it even have a beginning? Everywhere I go, all that I do is solve the mysteries that appear one after the other, and then move on. I understand this, and expect that the same situation will continue. Still, all I can do is move forward. My thinking always results in this conclusion. This door has awaited me. I slowly turn the knob. The inside of this room is different from the ones I have encountered up to this point, and I can feel life in here. There are traces and a sense that someone was in this room. I softly pick up the picture frame that was displayed on the desk. Alessa, that is engraved on the picture frame. I gaze at the picture. It is a face that I think I have seen somewhere. I try to remember where as hard as I can, but in the end I can't remember at all. But I am sure that I have met this girl somewhere, more than just once. A diary has been placed next to the picture frame. I reach out with my hand. Yeah, diary. Pick up the diary. Something is written in the diary. April 15. From today, this will be my new diary. Lisa secretly gave this to me as a present, and it means that soon I should be able to take my bandages off. A bird landed on a branch of the tree outside my window. I gazed at it for a bit. Seeing those beautiful colors, I thought again that it must be spring. I wish I could play outside like the other children. It is now afternoon. They have come again. I pretended to be asleep, but it looks like they did not notice. They talk quietly, as not to be heard outside my room. I do not understand the meaning of what they discussed. They never talk in this room. I thought... April 16th. Someone is talking outside my room. It sounds serious, but it doesn't seem to be about me. Perhaps it's because he doesn't want to disturb me. Even the hospital director has not come to see me much lately. I don't like the director very much, so I am honestly quite happy. April 16 P.S. By some strange chance, I learned a certain person is coming to visit me. April 17. Everyone has been in a rush for some reason since before sunrise this morning. Something about a dead person coming back to life. Does that really happen? It's a frightening story. Because of that, my meal was a little late. Cold soup is disappointing. Suddenly, I remembered him. Maybe he has forgotten me, but I definitely remember him. Lately, I think of him often. I want to see him. It looks like my visitor is coming in the evening, on the day after tomorrow. Before then, just once. April 18. It's finally tomorrow. I will not tell anyone about this. If I tell anyone, they will probably strap me to my bed. Before they arrive, the friend that can share my feelings, the only one. I wonder if she will realize this. Tonight, I will go to bed early. April 19. I must get out of here. For the first time in a while, I have worn my favorite pendant. Does it look good on me? I will write about the results here tomorrow. April 20. The last page is blank. I place the diary under my arm and prepare to leave the room. However, my eyes once again return to the picture frame the diary had been placed next to. She was all alone, but I have Cheryl. The girl in the picture is appealing to me for something. In the painful silence, I can feel a spiritual message. After wavering, I removed the picture from the frame and slid it into my pocket. Then I left the room. Lessa? Lessa? Who is she? Why was her picture on display in the deep basement of the hospital? And where was that strange feeling of a life that I sensed in that room coming from? I am unable to figure any of it out. So I am irritated. I head for the examination room on the first floor. All the mysteries of the hospital are suddenly prepared. All of the mysteries of the hospital are surely prepared in that room. Believing so, I race up the stairs while having difficulty breathing. When I open the door to the examination room, I feel the presence of a person and stop moving. The inside of the room is dark. Someone is here. Who is it? Fire the gun. Once the woman realized that I was human, she ran towards me and threw her arms around me like a child would. Finally, someone else who's okay. After mumbling those words in a tearful voice, she held me more tightly. Who are you? My name's Lisa Garland. What's yours? Harry Mason. After we exchanged our simple introductions, I sat in a chair and she sat on the bed so that we were facing each other. The woman that called herself Lisa had blonde hair and an intelligent look to her. Maybe she might know something. At the moment I was about to speak, the woman began talking. Harry, tell me what's happening here. Where is everybody? I must have gotten knocked out. When I came to, everyone was gone. Her voice did not feel like it was coming from her body, and was accompanied by a strange reverberation. It's awful. So you don't know anything either. Great. I just don't get it. It's like this is all some kind of bad dream. As I select my words, I have a feeling that even my own words are not coming from my body. Let me ask you. Yeah, a living nightmare. Let me ask you. Have you seen a little girl around here? Short, black hair, 7 years old? I mutter. Cheryl. In a voice that Lisa would not hear. 7-year-old girl? What's she, your daughter? Yes. 7-year-old girl. I can't say that I have. I wasn't conscious all this time. I'm sorry. That's alright. That was just as I expected, but I continue asking questions without showing my disappointment. You know anything about all that weird stuff in the basement? No. Why? Is there something down there? You don't know? Don't you work here? We're under strict orders never to enter the basement storeroom. After changing the subject to the hospital basement, I began to notice that my thoughts were becoming muddy. So I really don't know. What did you say was down there? Well, I try as hard as I can to remember the pitiful sight of that room, the basement. However, in trying to trace my memory back to that ringing, which has been gone for a while, returned to my ears. A sound like the bells of that church runs through my head. Ah, damn, my head. What's wrong? Harry? Harry, let me help you. Harry? Lisa has vanished. After a while, I notice that my body is freezing cold. It is as if I am dead, but I am clearly conscious. Where's Lisa? I was definitely talking to her in this examination room. I no longer feel the evil presence that I felt in this room. No, in this entire hospital up until just before. From the window, soft light is pouring into the room. Was I dreaming? As I slowly get up, I hear the sound of a door opening. I instantly look toward the source of the sound. The creepy woman I met at the church was standing there with an expressionless look on her face. You were too late. It's you. Yes, Dahlia Gillespie. Tell me everything you know. What's going on? Darkness, she responded before I was even done speaking. The town is being devoured by darkness. The woman continues while maintaining a devout look. I don't even remember what voice I was giving her. So she's just gonna get what she gets. My throat's already getting raw from all this. Strength must overcome. Petty desire. Childish sleep talk. Alright. I'll do what I can. I knew this day would come. What are you talking about? I don't understand a word of this. Believe the evidence of your eyes. So I should believe the evidence of my eyes. I understand. I am in a situation in which I can only believe what I have seen with my own eyes. David? The other church of this town. That is your destination. This is beyond my abilities. Only you can stop it now. Have you not seen the crest marked on the ground all over town? So that's what I saw in the schoolyard. What does it mean? It is the mark of Samael. Don't let it be completed. Hey, wait! It's frozen. Just gonna let it load for a minute. Well, that's not great. Ah, heck. God, no. Yeah, I can save. I save. Reset. Still frozen, so that's good. Hmm. Yank game pack? Well, that sounds good. Alright, we're gonna try that again. Maybe? Oh, yeah. No, it's bad. It's real bad. Dude, the first time I opened it and it was at full volume, that was a sensation. It's currently at like 40% volume, and then the game capture is at half of its like capture volume. So I'm really doing you a favor. Yeah, somehow. There we go. Hey. Dahlia Gillespie. She places an oddly shaped key on an examination table with a tap, spins around, heads to the door, and then opens it. I open the door that she closed and roll out into the hospital corridor, but she is nowhere to be seen. The other church. But if I exclude the church I already visited, I do not see anything that looks like a church on the map. I slowly open the phone book attached to the payphone in the corridor. In there, a mark is present to guide me. It is next to the phone number of an antique shop in the northeast area of the shopping district. What? Oh. Yeah, same thing. I need to be tabbed out of the actual window for it to be captured for some reason. I don't know. Emulators are weird, man. OBS is weird. Emulators are weird. At least there's like, it's literally a black screen, so you weren't missing visuals. There we go. The door to the antique shop is ominously open. The open door connects to a staircase leading down to the basement. At the end of the stairs, there is another door. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Fortunately, you didn't miss anything, though. I insert the key I was carrying and slowly turn it. The inside of the shop is small. I take a look around using my flashlight and find that the place is such a mess that it looks almost as if it has been ransacked by a thief. Is something here? At first glance, I don't think that there's anything here that concerns me. However, I did not I did not miss that which was hidden behind a shelf. I move the shelf step by step, and an eerie passage leading into darkness appears. What's this? Harry? I look back toward the familiar voice. Sybil? Sybil, who should have left the next town over to call for backup, was there. I'm glad you're okay. I shouldn't have left you. Things are worse than I thought. It's nuts. What are you doing here? I thought you left town. I saw you go in here, so I followed you. I couldn't get out. All the roads out of town are blocked. Cars have completely stopped running. Phones and radios are still out too. What about my daughter? Did you see her? I did see a girl. My heart began to beat faster. Was it Cheryl? I only caught a glimpse of her through the fog. I went after her, but she vanished. I don't know about your daughter, but... And you just let her go? Where was it? On Bachman Road. She was heading towards the lake. Now, don't get excited. It wasn't like she ran off exactly. There was no place for her to go. The road has been obliterated. What? So then, Cheryl... It was like she was walking on thin air. Uncomfortable silence occurs between the two of us. What about you? Anything? Yeah, I met this bizarre woman. Her name's Dahlia Gillespie. Do you know her? Dahlia Gillespie? No. And? She said something about the town being devoured by darkness. Gibberish like that. Any idea what it means? Darkness devouring the town. Must be on drugs. Selling to the tourists. Force still can't figure out who's behind it. None of our leads have panned out, and the investigation is stalled. Drugs? Sybil's response was far from what I had imagined, so I shake my head back and forth. What could drug trafficking have to do with all this? I really don't know, but maybe that's the darkness she was talking about. That's all I can think of. Sybil looked slightly irritated, took a long breath. She shifted her gaze to the passage behind the shelf. What's this? Just discovered it. Maybe there's something back there. Let's have a look. Sybil. I will go. Wait. We don't know what's back there. I'd better check it out first. I'm a cop. I should go. No, I'm going, I said in a rough tone. All right. I'll cover you from here. Be careful. If anything looks fishy, get back here on the double. Okay. Peer inside the hidden passage. Inside, it looks like an unseen barrier of darkness has been set up, which makes it look like a place no one should enter. I intuitively sense that it would be dangerous to move into this passage. It is kind of a What? I missed what that said. It is kind of a passage. Something, something. I look back at Sybil once. Sybil? Yes? Do you know anything about, well, like, some other world? It's like some kind of bad dream? What are you talking about? I'm not quite sure. I try to make sense of it, but then my mind goes blank. Everything's dark there, and I hear sirens in the distance. I met this nurse, Lisa. It's like I was there, but not really. It's all a blur. Like some kind of hallucination, you know? I have no idea what you're talking about, Harry. Sybil spoke while shaking her head from side to side. Oh, I was just wondering. Never mind. Harry, you're tired. Yeah, maybe. Am I tired? Yes, I am tired. If that is all it is, then that is fine. If my being tired is what caused me to see all the hallucinations up to this point, then Cheryl should return to me. The only thing is, the sensation I'm feeling is not that of being tired. Rather, my body feels as if I have been on the floor, sleeping continuously, like a human in cold sleep. And I'm feeling the agonizing suffering, not easily being able to escape from that state. Leaving Sybil behind, I step into the passage. I begin walking, carefully, taking one step at a time. Sybil can probably no longer see me from where she is, even if I could see her from where I am. I made my way into the room at the end of the passage. It was small. The smell of something having been burned is in the air. Once I saw an altar appear in the darkness, I realized that this is the church that Dahlia was talking about. I look around the area. An axe. An axe have been. An axe has been displayed on the wall, but nothing else stands out. While shaking my head, I decide to try going back through the passage I came from. But at that moment, a light bright enough to make me look away emanates from the altar. I think I heard the sound of a giant match being struck. The two enormous pillars of flame rose from the altar, as if a ritual were beginning or something. Even at the distance I am at, I can feel the heat from those flames. My surprise and that heat caused me to fall into a state of barely being conscious. And then I gradually lose myself until I finally end up lying face down on the concrete floor. And the coldness that remained in the floor was drawn away by the heat as my consciousness grew distant. Harry? Are you okay? Harry? Harry? Where am I? Harry. Lisa. But I'm in the hospital. You were having a bad dream. Was I? Hey, you don't look so good. Are you okay? None of these are in quotes. I'm trying to remember who was actually talking in the game. I'm fine. Nothing you need to worry about. Well, if you're sure. Lisa, do you know a woman named Dahlia Gillespie? Oh, yeah. That crazy Gillespie lady. She's kind of famous around here. She never sees anybody, so I don't know that much about her. I heard her kid died in a fire. And supposedly, she's been crazy ever since. Well, she says the town is being devoured by. No, this is Harry. Well, she says the town is being devoured by darkness. Do you have any idea what she's talking about? The town? Devoured by the darkness? Yes, I think I do. Before this place was turned into a resort, the townspeople here were on the quiet side. Everybody followed some kind of queer religion. Weird occult stuff, black magic, that kind of thing. As young people moved away, the people figured they'd been summoned by the gods. Evidently, things like that used to happen around here all the time. Before the resort here, there wasn't really anything else out here. Everyone was so flipped out. Gotta blame it on something. Then a lot of new people came in, and everybody clammed up about it. Cult. Last time I heard anything about it was, gosh, years ago. Several people connected with developing the town died in an accident. People said it was a curse. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'll shut up. Lisa is. The reverberations of Lisa's "I'll shut up" remained in my ears. I wonder how long had I been sleep. How long had I been asleep? I found myself in that antique shop again, lying face down in the same position I was in just a short while ago. Was that another dream? Did I pass out again? I don't want to think so, but maybe this is all just going on in my head. I could have had a car accident. Now I'm lying unconscious in a hospital bed. I don't know. It's real anymore. Sybil said Cheryl was heading towards the lake, but the road to the lake is blocked. Are there any other roads? Lisa would probably know. Though I am limited in what I can do, I still have one piece of information for finding Cheryl, so it cannot just remain here. I energetically stand up, open the door of the antique shop, and rush back into the town. The town has turned into that nightmarish world. It's as if the danger in this town increases with every second. In order to find Lisa, I turn on the flashlight on my chest and begin to run at full speed. I left the antique shop with the intention of reuniting with Lisa, but I discover that all the roads leading to the hospital are blocked. With no other choice, I enter the shopping mall, town center, the shopping district. Inside, everything has naturally changed to the other worlds as well. I can hear the groans of monsters in the vicinity, and it would not be surprising if they attacked at any moment. The floor has changed to metal grating, and this building looks as if it has been left in ruins for several hundred years. Large monitors have been placed in the hall at the entrance to the great shoppers, to greet shoppers. After wandering around the first floor and finding nothing interesting, I begin heading up the powered down escalator. And at that moment, suddenly light overflows from out of the monitors in the hall. A bound Cheryl is displayed on the screen. Daddy, help me. Cheryl! I turn around and run back down the escalator toward the first floor hall. The image of Cheryl on the monitor then begins to get more and more fuzzy until it dissolves into video static on the picture tube. On the picture tube. And then, in place of Cheryl, an eerie crest is displayed. It looked a lot like that, which I saw in the courtyard of the elementary school. I pound on the monitors. I pound with all my strength, as if I believe that Cheryl is trapped inside the picture tube. However, Cheryl's image did not appear again. I'm convinced Cheryl was definitely taken away by someone and is being held by them. She's waiting for me to rescue her. I must hurry, I say to myself. Search the second floor. The second floor is more brutal than first. It is completely deserted. However, I am paying attention. I can hear a sound like a liquid substance splashing from somewhere. I can sense that something that is not human is there. I turn toward the direction of the noise and began to run, and then I discover the source of the noise. As soon as I step there, the section of the floor that I was standing on gives away and falls with me on top of it. I scream almost right away. Although I just fell one floor, strangely enough, I am not hurt. The floor of the somewhat wide room is sandy. It is most certainly what cushioned my fall. I pick up the rifle at my feet and try readying it. As I do so, an unspeakably unpleasant tremor comes from below me that shakes my entire body. It is not something that I can see. I decide this because I felt it, only from below me. I can clearly tell that something with a long body, like a caterpillar, is moving around below me. As I move, it moves in the same direction. So it is obvious that it is aiming for me as it moves. And then it shows itself. It is a giant caterpillar, about 5 meters long. It sprays a green liquid from its fierce, tusk-covered mouth. I can tell that the liquid is poisonous just from looking at it, and that it is definitely being discharged towards me. I did not dodge it in time, so some of that liquid got on my arm. The pain is sharp. Red is rising up where the poisonous liquid got on me, as it is dissolving the components on my skin. Damn! Fire that rifle. I am in danger now. I once again ready the rifle that I just picked up, and then I rain bullets into the creature that has appeared above ground. Green fluid began to leak from its abdomen, so it twisted its large body and once again burrowed underground. A steel plate is conveniently lying on the middle of the area. If I can just get on top of it, then I should be able to avoid direct attack. However, move onto the plate. Why wouldn't I? Why would you not move onto the plate? After moving onto the steel plate, I discovered one problem with doing so. I can no longer tell where it is coming from. I can only go with my intuition, just where it is going to appear from. Oh god. Where's it going to appear? I listened carefully. I wagered that it is coming from behind. I spin around and fire the rifle. It had just appeared there, and my first shot went right through its head. It exploded like a piece of fruit exploding, and liquid with a revolting color and horrible smell began to flow around it. I pursue it as it begins to try and escape back into the ground, firing the rifle on this deserted floor of the town center. I leave the town center. Did I kill it? Okay. Or did it leave? Perhaps the caterpillar from before was blocking my path to the hospital, as my route, which had been blocked until just before, was now restored. The entire town seemed like the insides of an enormous living thing. If a part of it is treated, then a part of it is destroyed. If a part of it disappears, then a part of it appears. I get the feeling that I am wandering about within a living organism that has become a labyrinth. I open the gate to the hospital, and then energetically open the door of the examination room. Inside, Lisa was waiting for me. Harry, She changes from looking completely exhausted and rushes over to me in an innocent, childlike way. Glad you're okay. Thank God you came back. I was scared to be here all alone. I'm here now. I was worried too. I'm real happy to see you. I lightly hug Lisa and gently draw away. I then speak while looking into her eyes. Lisa, can you tell me how to get to the lake? The lake? Take Bachman Road. The road's blocked. I recall what Sybil told me. Well, that's the only way out there. Are you sure? There's gotta be another way. Lisa placed her hand on her chin, thinks for a bit. Then her eyes open wide, as if she has realized something. Wait! I just remembered something. What? There's a waterworks over by my old elementary school. It's been abandoned for years. There's an underground tunnel out there used for inspections or something. I remember hearing it runs all the way to the lake. Really? You think I could get to the lake from there? I've never been down in there myself, so I'm not positive. Besides, it's all fenced off to keep people out. If there's a chance, I've got to try. Lisa embraces me again, just as I think that her face is beginning to look tearful. Harry, don't go. I don't want to be alone. It's so scary. I can't stand it. This one room in an empty hospital, in this state in which monsters could kick in the door and enter at any time. She has no weapons with which to defend herself with, so her being gripped with fear is only natural. What should I do? Take her. I speak. How about coming with me? This may not be the safest place in the world either. I can't promise you anything, but I'll do my best to protect you. No. Somehow, I feel I'm not supposed to leave this place. Oh, Harry. I'm so scared. I'm cold. I waver. Is it okay for me to leave Lisa alone? But then what will happen to Cheryl? Cheryl has only me to depend on. My concern for Cheryl cannot be compared with my concern for Lisa. After all, she is my daughter. Look, just wait here a little longer. I'll be back as soon as I find my daughter. Perhaps those words rang cold for Lisa. But there is nothing that can be done. I must save my daughter. Harry. I leave the hospital. The water supply installation near the elementary school. I was told that I could go through those sewers and reach the lake that Cheryl was heading toward. I must hurry. As I began to run, I felt something fly over my head. It looks like something is flying in circles in the sky above me, but it's too dark, so I cannot see it so well. I climb the metal stairs of the building across the street, and then head up to the roof. What is this? Giant moth. I guess I didn't completely kill it. The caterpillar that I shot at the town center has followed me here. And it has matured. It dances against the black sky and is looking down on me. In addition to the poison that it can discharge from its mouth, it now has a stinger with which to stick me with. I'm in danger. Shoot it. Just keep shooting. I fire the rifle. However, it is adept in the air and evades my aim, leaving the bullet to hit only air before being swallowed by the darkness. Calm down, I told myself. I must focus on only one target. Abdomen worked for the fucking first creature, but I didn't have the option to shoot it in the head. Just shoot it in the abdomen. It's a giant fucking body. Same thing. Just keep shooting the body. While dodging it, I point the barrel of the gun at the soft area below its chest. It adeptly uses its large wings to pursue me, but eventually, its strength runs out. It falls between two buildings. Green liquid leaks from its insides, and its screams echo throughout the town. Good fucking night. The nightmare still continues. After passing through the sewers, connected to the water supply installation near the elementary school, I came up in the most popular part of Silent Hill, the lakeside tourist spot. However, in spite of this, there is no reason to expect anyone to be here. The area is wrapped in darkness, in a condition in which it would be impossible to even walk around without a flashlight. First, I decide to enter Annie's bar, which lies on the road to the lake. As I approach the door, I notice what sounds like a struggle coming from the other side. Kaufman! When I open the door inside, Kaufman is there. Dr. Michael Kaufman. That is certainly what he said his name was. A monster has him cornered. His back is against the far wall of the bar, and he's out of breath. He did not notice me come into the bar, and looked as if he had lost all hope. I pointed my gun at the monster and fired. Even after the monster had died, with a cry like a metallic twisting, Kaufman just stared into the air, looking completely worn out. Are you okay? As I spoke to him, he weakly stood up, brushed his pants twice, and then slowly looked toward me. Yeah, I guess so. I'm beat. I thought I was a goner there. How'd it go? Did you find a way out? No, not yet. How about you? Zip. But it's too soon to give up. This craziness can't go on forever. A military rescue squad should be here any time now. If they come through the town, we're home free. He looked at the darkness outside the window and clenched his fists. I hope so, I say. I better get going. This isn't the time to stand around flapping our gums. He fixed his collar and then began to walk to the door. He walked as if he were incredibly hungry. When he reached the door, I asked him the question that had been on my mind for quite some time. Yeah, seriously. I also, like, and even when this part came up in the game, I was like, how the fuck does he know a squad is coming to save town? How does he know anything's happening? Like, he's pretty damn sure about it, but he pulls that card out of fucking nowhere. Showing him the picture is not an option in the game. So I'm kind of curious what that does. Do you know this girl? His hand, which he had placed on the doorknob, paused for a moment, and then he looked back at me. I hold the picture of Alessa in my hand. Upon seeing it, a look of horror appears on Kaufman's face. He freezes. You? Just who in the hell are you? I wasn't able to understand the meaning of the question. In the next instant, Kaufman turned and left the room, as if he were sucked through the door. Dr. Michael Kaufman. He definitely has some secret. While I'm not sure whether it is connected to me rescuing Cheryl or not, he knows the main reason why this town has undergone transformation. I followed him so that he did not notice me. Oh, did I just secretly get a better ending? Did I whoopsie and do a better ending? He races through the dark alleys. Perhaps it is because he is familiar with the geography here. The sound of the harsh wind blowing down from the mountains as it cuts through the eaves of the buildings hides my footsteps and my presence. I continued to carefully tail him, making sure not to lose sight of him. Finally, his small figure opened the door of a certain building, and he disappeared inside. He went into the he went into a motel, but not into one of the guest rooms. The door he went through is one that is off limits to outsiders, only for use by employees. I press down on my heart, which feels like it's going to explode. With my left hand, open the door that Kaufman just used and head inside. Inside, ancient dust is everywhere, and the room reeks of mildew. It looks to be a garage. Oil, a sprayer, tires, such have been placed on a dirty metal shelf. Odd. Kaufman is nowhere. Kaufman is nowhere to be found. There is only one other door in the room, and it is slightly open. He must have went through there into another room. However, I did not go after him right away. Instead, my attention turned to the motorcycle near the wall, and I stopped. The gas tank of the motorcycle differs from the rest of the motorcycle, as it is oddly clean and shiny. The motorcycle is so covered in dust that it is not possible to even distinguish what color it is. But I get the feeling that the gas tank area alone has been fiddled with by someone. I tried gently opening the gas tank. Inside the gas tank, there is a black vinyl bag that is protecting a small glass bottle. At the moment I was about to reach out to it, a familiar voice stopped me. Give me that! I turned. Kaufman was just glaring at me, his face white with anger. His clenched fists are shaking with rage. What is this? That's none of your business. Instead of messing with that, how about coming up with a way to get out of here? You shouldn't be hanging around here goofing off. What do you think you're doing? You want to get yourself killed? Get out of here. Even if he had not said that, I understood. I didn't know just how important this small bottle was to him, but I didn't think that it would help me to find Cheryl, so I gave it to him. Okay, take it easy. Unless you want to die, keep your mind on business. Got it? Saying that, Kaufman acts calm and leaves the garage. I think that guy's got to be involved with the local drug racket. Man, was he pissed. And it's such a rush, too. That was probably dope in the bottle. Anyway, better let him do as he pleases. There's more than my life at stake. I then realize that I am wasting time and immediately leave the hotel. I check the map, then head to the greatest part of this sightseeing area, the lakeside. My visible breath brushes by my cheeks, drifting in the air as if to mark my trail, and then finally becoming one with the air around it. Then the area gradually began turning into that nightmarish world. I abruptly come to stop. This time, the change is not instant like before. This town, this world seems like it is being dumped into a demon's body, and I am filled with a feeling that there is no going back. Something has changed in a way that cannot be undone. There is the road before me, so I run along it. That is all I can do. Is there any hope? Is Cheryl alive? In this situation, in which I cannot be sure of anything, I frequently have to fight off the urge to get sick. However, I believe that I will find something if I continue forward on this road. I run across a pier, and without thinking about it, I wrench the door of a small boat stopped midway along the pier open. Rush inside it. There was already a passenger inside the boat. Sybil? Harry? Our voices revealed that we were both relieved. I don't know who's talking. How did you get back here? I followed the sewer. No, other way. How did you get back here? I followed the sewer. Were you the one who cut the fence? Yeah. I'm glad you made it. I was worried about you. You were worried? Where did you disappear to? Never mind. I want to know what's going on here. What is with this town? I condensed all the things that had happened to me into one somewhat unclear conclusion. I look at Sybil and begin to speak. This may sound really off the wall, but listen to me. You've got to believe me. I haven't gone crazy, and I'm not fooling around. At first, I thought I was losing my mind, but now I know I'm not. It's not me. This whole town, it's being invaded by the other world. By a world of someone's nightmarish delusions come to life. Little by little, the invasion is spreading, trying to swallow up everything in darkness. I think I'm finally beginning to understand what that lady was talking about. Harry, hold on a minute. I don't get it. Look, I don't understand it all myself. I guess I can't explain it. I honestly revealed how I felt. Well, what's making this happen? I don't know that either, but I do know Cheryl is there. There? Under whoever created this darkness, Cheryl is somewhere, and she needs my help. Once I finished explaining everything, Sybil faintly smiled and looked at me as if she was worried. Harry, this whole thing's been a major blow to you. You need to rest. I was let down. This world, its state, the reason it became like this. I understood, and I wanted Sybil to understand as well. Even though I am a writer, I am cursed by a limited vocabulary. This is something that upsets me about myself. Sybil, As I was speaking, the door slowly opened, and I could see someone enter the room. It was not a monster, but a human. The demon is awakening! Spreading those wings! Dahlia Gillespie. Was it not as I said? I see it all now. Yes, everything. Hungry for sacrifice, the demon will swallow up the land. I knew this day would come, and what's more, the task is almost finished. There's only 2 left. To seal this town to the abyss, the mark of Samael. When it is completed, all is lost. Even in daytime, darkness will cover the sun. The dead will walk, and martyrs will burn in the fires of hell. Everyone will die. So what am I supposed to do? I've got to save Cheryl. Fucking Harry, huh? It is simple. Stop the demon. The demon taking that child's form. Stop it before your daughter becomes a sacrifice. Before it is too late. Stop it. Stop it. What do I do? Go to the lighthouse on the lake. To the center of the amusement park. Seriously, every time. Make haste. You are the only hope. Look, Harry, I really don't get what's going on, but if there's a chance we can save your daughter, I'm in. I'll check the amusement park. You go to the lighthouse. Sybil. I mean, I'm trying to follow the game as close as I can. Just because I'm using this as kind of a recap for tomorrow. But I'm interested by some of these alternative options. Like, what would happen if I tried to force myself to the amusement park? Right? It's interesting. Sybil. Thanks. Gripping her handgun, Sybil left the boat and disappeared into the darkness. You will need to use it. Oh, use what? The Flaros. Only with that can you stop it. Wait. The Flaros. I check inside my pockets. That 4-sided object. However, does Sybil have such an object as well? No. It is not likely. If she did, then she probably would have been able to understand my story a little better. What about Sybil? I consider chasing after Sybil. However, my true goal is rescuing my daughter. And Sybil, with the same goal, is risking her life as she heads to the amusement park. I think I should believe in Sybil. No, maybe it is merely my selfishness telling myself that. Yeah, I'll fuck around with it a little bit. Like before this, I knew this game existed, but I knew nothing about it. I knew literally nothing other than it was retelling the first game. So, this also means that the first game has technically two remakes or reimaginings. So, there are a lot of people who are like, why are they starting with Silent Hill 2 as the remake, and why aren't they remaking 1? Um, Partly because 2 is the one everybody knows. 2 also has Pyramid Head, which is the other part of Silent Hill everybody knows. And 1 has had remakes in weird forms like this. So, you know, um, yeah. Remakes of the other 3 would be kind of cool, but I don't think they're like I don't think they're as necessary as ports. All the first 4 games should be ported before any other remakes are considered. Anyway, I think I should believe in Sybil. No, maybe it is merely my selfishness telling myself that. However, my destination is the lighthouse. It is not far from here. To run there is my mission and my fate. I entered the lighthouse and then ascended a spiral staircase to arrive at the roof. Then I could not believe my eyes. A giant crest is present on the floor. I am standing on the roof of the lighthouse. The mark of Samael. That is what Dahlia called it. She said I must not let it become. She said I must not let it be completed. That this town is gradually being eroded away by this crest. Alessa was standing there. She looked as if she had just now completed making the mark here. And she just looked at me without any change in her expression. The first time we just faced each other. Each of us understanding each other to a certain degree, just as I thought. But her eyes showed a little sadness. She turned around and suddenly disappeared, as if she had jumped from this tall lighthouse. Alessa, wait! Yeah, just swinging straight back to the fucking boat. In order to return to the boat, just before I retraced my steps from the lighthouse, the small boat stopped midway along the pier. Perhaps Sybil has returned. And with that expectation in mind, I opened the door leading to the inside of the boat, but Sybil is not here. Maybe she's still on her way to the amusement park. Or maybe she's already arrived there. Or maybe something has happened to her. Within a current of guessing that raced by like a revolving lantern, I ran toward the amusement park. I arrive at the amusement park by going through the sewers. In the amusement park, which has changed the form of the other world, several of the attractions run constantly, as if they were broken toys. I pass by the Ferris wheel and arrive at the merry-go-round, but this is the only attraction that is not running. While it is only natural for a ride to not be in operation, it seems unnatural for this merry-go-round to not be running. I walk around it. Clink, clink. While slipping between the horses, I look for Sybil. Quite a bit of time has passed since she came here. I suppose maybe she didn't find Cheryl and headed back to that ship. But the only way to get here is through those sewers. If she had gone back, then we should have ran across each other at some point. What's this? I slowly kneel down and try touching it. The dark green liquid is still warm. Something moved through here. If this trail is traced, it will lead back to the source of the liquid. And then, in the darkness, I see Sybil from behind. Sybil! I try calling out to her. Only the low sound of the motor of the Ferris wheel echoes from afar. She should be able to hear me. I take another look at her. Odd. I do not see the brave attitude that was present in her just before. She walks as if something has drained the life out of her, like she is wandering about for no reason. I approach her and call out to her once more. As I do this, Sybil staggers as she slowly turns and confirms my presence. Then, as if I am watching her in slow motion, she raises her right arm until it is parallel with the ground, and then a bullet fires from the handgun she is holding. Sybil, it's me! It's Harry! The bullet grazes my shoulder, and with a discordant metallic sound, it hits one of the wooden horses. She's coming towards me. Her eyes no longer appear to be human. The eerie red color of her eyes does not make it look like her life force has been drained, but instead, it makes it appear as if she's been possessed by some evil being. I was too late. I think. Her heart had been devoured by someone. No, by Alessa. What if there is no longer Sybil? Just an alter ego of Alessa that is using Sybil's body. I ready my handgun and fire at Sybil. I have no choice. If I do not fire, then I will be killed. If I die, then I won't be able to save Cheryl or anything. Sybil. She should be my most dependable partner. The first person I met in town, and a supporter, an irreplaceable friend that risked her life to help me search for Cheryl. And now, I'm going to kill her in the name of rescuing my daughter. However, I have no choice. I will be killed if I do nothing. I pull the trigger. So it didn't give me a choice, meaning I think I grabbed the wrong liquid. So whoopsie. Oh, let's see. Each time I hit Sybil, I feel like I'm going to pass out. And as Sybil collapses, I become aware of my error. Sybil has become just an object. I rush over to Sybil and look at her. She is on her back, with her eyes wide open. I sink to the ground. Tears distort my vision. Sybil, why did this happen? At the moment I am about to touch Sybil, her back suddenly rises and begins squirming. A nasty liquid-like monster bursts out of Sybil's lifeless back, crawls on the floor, and begins to move at a speed not unthinkable for its shape. Keeping only it in my sight, I pursue it. I am already exhausted, and may be in no condition to correctly judge things. And then, just as I had predicted, she appeared. Alessa, the girl that wrapped up this town and its residents in her other world. That girl carefully formed her body from out of light and appeared right in front of me. I began to talk to that demon. I figured you'd show. Hold it right there. I don't know who you are, what you're trying to do. I don't care. Just one thing. Let Cheryl go. That's all I ask. Before I finish speaking, Alessa raises her right hand toward the sky. Then she brings her arm down. My entire body is blown backwards. My body tumbles across the ground like a rag for about 30 meters, and finally comes to a rest. Damn! Such incredible power. Servant of God, a demon's power. A normal person like me has no chance against her. Power is gushing out of her body, and it emits a pale light. not even approach her. Huh? What's this? Suddenly, a blinding light emits from the pocket. It is that four-sided object, the Flauros. Light shoots out in a straight line from each of the points of its triangles, and it eventually rises up into the air. Just as I thought that the great light and sound it was wrapped in meant that its power was greater than Alessa's, the power of the Flauros condensed, became a beam of light and pierced Alessa's body. Just as I was just before, Alessa was blown backwards by that power she could not overcome. Where's Cheryl? Give me back my daughter. I was on the verge of passing out. I thought of Cheryl. All I could do is calmly look at the unbelievable sight before me as it unfolds before my eyes. What just happened? Is Cheryl okay? However, she does not answer me. Instead, a hoarse voice passes into my thoughts. It is accompanied by the sound of footsteps. We meet at last, Alessa. Dahlia Gillespie. Unable to move from my prone position, I thought about whose voice that was. Then, using all my strength, I stand. After confirming that it was Dahlia in front of me, I spoke in a voice that was nearly a yell. Where's Cheryl? Where is she? Dahlia does not hear me yelling. She does not look back. She looks at Alessa with a creepy smile. Alessa, this is the end of your little game. Mama? Mother? I'm confused. Huh? Could she be? You've been a ghastly little pest, haven't you, Alessa? I was careless, thinking you couldn't escape from our spell. But Mommy didn't know how much you'd grown. That's why I couldn't catch you all by myself. But what a pity, yes? Now you're half indebted to this man for his help. Hey, what are you talking about? My voice just echoes emptily in the darkness. Alessa, my dear little girl, there is one thing left I need you to do for me. No, get away from me. Bad girl. Everything is ready. Let's go home now, Wait, what about Cheryl? Just where is she? Give me back my daughter. My daughter. Cheryl. That's a huge skip. Lisa? What happened? Where's Alessa and Dahlia? Harry, listen. Something you said before has been bothering me. I just can't get it out of my head. What is it, Lisa? So I went to look in the basement. Even though I was scared as hell, like you said, there were these creepy rooms. But nothing really unusual down there. But while I was down there, I got this weird feeling like I'd been there before. Like something happened there, but I can't quite remember somehow. What was it? Harry, help me. I'm so scared, I can't take this. It's only a temporary thing. You're in shock from when you were knocked out. Don't fret about it. You'll remember after a while. No, you don't understand. Wait, where do you think you're going? Harry? Lisa, what's the matter with you? I get it now. I'm still alive, even though everyone else is dead. I'm not the only one who's still walking around. I'm the same as them. I just hadn't noticed it before. Lisa? Stay by me, Harry. Please. I'm so scared. Help me. Save me from them, please. Harry? I'm just gonna fucking peace out. Bye-bye. I'm sorry, but There are things I have to take care of. I don't think that I can protect you. Lisa has tears in her eyes. I'm afraid. I cannot do anything alone. I'm a helpless woman. Please. I thought for a bit and came to a conclusion. I cannot do it. I love my daughter. Lisa appealed to me in a tearful voice. That girl that you don't even know if she's alive or not? Don't even know where she is now? You should be worried about the person that is alive, right in front of you. I lightly exhaled. No matter what you say, I must go. Please understand what I'm going through. Please. Saying that, I turned toward the door. Lisa reached out to my shoulder, but I did not look back. Lisa's condition becomes abnormal. She then extends her hand out towards me. Help me? She doesn't say it, but I know that is what she is saying from the movement of her lips. While she stares into the air, Lisa's body appears to drift and wiggle as she edges toward me, one step at a time. She falls to her knees. She falls on her hands. With me fixed in her sight, Lisa is falling headlong down the staircase to death. Wow, that's different. Straight down a fucking staircase, huh? And then Lisa stopped moving. With Lisa now no more than a doll in front of me, I once again notice that I am inside the hospital, a place which is wrapped in an evil atmosphere that I have never seen the likes of. This is Lisa again. Ask the doctor to let me quit being in charge of that patient. It's too weird. The room is filled with insects. Even with doors and windows shut, they get in to spite me. To the hospital, still alive, but with wounds that won't heal. Blood and pus flow from the bathroom faucet. I try to stop it, but it won't turn off. Feeling bad. Need to throw up. Nothing comes out. Vomiting only bile. Need drug. Told the doctor I quit. Won't work at that hospital anymore. Someone help me. The pocket radio continues to make noise. The raging of the unknown things around me rocks my eardrums. Those monsters, which always approach shortly after I use my flashlight. It was all I could do to intimidate them with the gun while running away. After running for a bit, I realize that I am no longer in the original hospital. I have no way of knowing where here is. Bridging the gap in my faint consciousness, I move from place to place. I am being moved by someone. Maybe that is the best way to think about it. Maybe I am just painfully wandering around inside my own nightmare. I cannot tell it all. I can only trust my senses and rely on my own judgment. And then I raise my head. A straight corridor extends forward from where I am. As I slowly walk forward, one door seems to call out to me. So I approach it. Boom. Oh! Suddenly, the wall of the room creaks with a broom. And then the floor I was standing on begins to rapidly descend, along with the rest of the room. I felt like I would begin floating in the air, so I used my arms to brace myself, and then I passed out. Someone is talking. It hurts. My whole body hurts. I think this was... What is this? Is this still just me talking to myself? When I come to, I find that I am lying on the floor of a classroom in the elementary school. My body is spread out on the floor like Japanese characters. Stop comparing it to characters. I can hear someone talking. I cannot make out what they are saying very well. As I lie on my back, I can see who is talking just by looking around. I cannot believe my eyes. Over there, I see Dahlia and Delessa. They look like ghosts. I can see through their bodies. My throat's getting so dry. This is more talking than I think I've ever done in one stretch of time. Like, literally fucking ever. No. No, I don't want to. Do what Mommy tells you now. I just want you to lend me a teeny bit of your power. That's all. No. Nah. We are almost done. I'll get water when I go downstairs. We're good. Any liquid at all is better than nothing, and I've got like tons up here, so. No. I don't want to do it. It will make everyone happy. And it's for your own good, too. Oh, but Mommy, I just want to be with you. Just two of us. Please understand. Oh, yes, I see. Maybe Mommy has been wrong. Mommy? Why didn't I see this before? There's no reason to wait. Herein lies the mother's womb, containing the power to create life. I could have done it all myself. Mommy? Finally, they suddenly disappear. The classroom regains its stillness, as if nothing had happened. I got on my knees, stood up, looked around my surroundings. Chairs and desks were arranged in order. Using them as support, I unsteadily walk toward the exit. At the moment I place my hand on the wooden sliding door, it opens with great force, as if it had a mind of its own. Then the large flow of air coming from beyond it thrusts me into a dark space. I was forced down. I found that I had been thrown into a room of the hospital again. My body had rubbed on the disgustingly dirty floor. I picked myself up and suppressed the urge to vomit while brushing off my shirt several times. A video cassette recorder has been installed here. It looks like it can be used. I insert the tape that I had picked up at some point into it and timidly press the play button. After a moment of static, a picture appears. On the screen, Lisa appears. She's sitting alone, with her elbows on a desk, with her head down. Turn up the volume on the monitor, and listen carefully. What is it? Still has an unusually high fever? Eyes don't open? Getting a pulse, but just barely breathing. Her skin is all charred. Even when I change the bandages, the blood and pus just start oozing through. Why? What is keeping that child alive? I can't stand it any longer. I won't tell a soul. Promise, so please. And then the screen goes black. The tape was ejected, as if it were something dirty being spit out. It fell to the floor and it broke with a crash. Magnetic tape. There's no doubt. Someone is eating away at my consciousness. Magnetic tape extends out of the fallen video cassette and wraps around my legs. I try to get away, but the tentacles of tape get around my neck and begin to tighten. With both hands, I try as hard as I can to tear the tape away. It is twisted around my neck, but I am halfway passing out, so my hands do not have the strength to do so. In the light that is reaching my pupils, I can faintly detect what appears to be human figures. They appear standing around a bed, with Dahlia on the left, Kaufman on the right, and just a bit away from him, some people in white coats. That look like doctors. Each of them has troubled looks on their faces, and they peer at the face of the person lying on the bed. Everything is going according to plan, sheltered in the womb. Dahlia. It's not done yet. Half the soul is lost. That is why the sea lies dormant. What soul remains captured in that husk is buried deep down in the subconscious. Are you trying to say it won't work? That wasn't our agreement. No. These are just stalling tactics. If we lend a hand, we will be able to get power. Never fear. Promise shall not be broken. I don't know who is supposed to be talking where, but you get it. But the power we can draw now will be very weak, almost nothing, unless we get the other half of the soul. We'll use a magic spell. Feeling this child's pain is sure to come, but that will take time. I feel like the names that were popping up were meant for the dialogue that preceded them, which is very useful when you don't know what's happening. And then the illusion fades away. Sure. I carefully observe the inside of the room. This room is... I've been here before, I think. The tape, which should be tightly wrapped around my throat, is gone. And I realize that my own hands are wrapped around my throat. Something is on top of the desk. It has been placed in the center of the room. This isn't the first time I've been here. When I was here before, I was certain that, unlike other rooms, I had sensed the warmth and presence of a person in this room. When I looked at the picture on the desk, my belief changed. Alessa. I try calling out to her. She's the instigator that created this other world. However, it would be hard for anyone to forgive the experiment that was carried out on her body under the pretext of a magical spell. This is where she lived. Her hate spirals out in this cursed wing, the hospital. However, there is no way to prove the reality of it, as all I have is a vague sense of it. Reflecting in my blank eyes, the room I am standing in begins to change shape. The bed and picture frame from before are gone, and the room transforms into a completely different one. This is a child's room. Stuffed animals and art supplies are scattered about all over. I notice something. Alessa probably collected these. Butterfly specimens of many different colors are on display. I just saw something flash. Did I? Can I just check all of them? I'm just fucking button mashing. We're going everywhere. Got it. I found a key. This key invites me. Had I not been very careful, I would not have found it, as it was hidden behind one of the butterflies. There's a door in front of me. As I approach it, it seems to edge up to me. As I extend my hand to the knob, the door makes a light tapping sound. It begins opening, as if inviting me into the heart of something evil. Finally arrived at the deepest level of the other world. Inside the door, it is wide, and the floor is a metal grating. It is filled with an evil atmosphere. Additionally, it is accompanied by a strong power that I have not felt before. The ceiling is too high for me to see. This is a giant space, so large that I cannot tell if I'm outside or not. I carefully walk into the large space, one step at a time. All the answers I seek are probably in this room. Dahlia and Alessa. Just definitely those two. Uh, you are Dahlia. I was shocked to realize the talisman of Metroton. Metroton? Okay. The talisman of Metroton was being used in spite of the lost soul returning at last, just a little longer, and all would have been for naught. It's all because of that man. We must be thankful to him. Even though Alessa has been stopped, his little girl has to go. What a pity. Dahlia still has not noticed me. I boldly walk toward Dahlia and I scream at her. Stop this, Dahlia! Dahlia shows no compunction or surprise and turns to face me with a calm expression on her face. Well, well, well. To think you'd make it this far. Where's Cheryl? What have you done to her? What are you talking about? You've seen her many times. Restored to her former self. I'm in no mood for jokes. I didn't understand what she was saying. Don't you see? She's right there. Right there? The Alessa, draped in her blue clothing, is where Dahlia is pointing. That's absurd. You are the only one who thinks so. Why? Why are you doing this? It's been a long 7 years. For the 7 years since that terrible day, Alessa has been kept alive, suffering a fate worse than death. Alessa has been trapped in an endless nightmare from which she never awakens. He has been nurtured by that nightmare, waiting for the day to be born. That day has finally come. The time is nigh. Everyone will be released from pain and suffering. Our salvation is at hand. This is the day of reckoning, when all our sorrows will be washed away. When we return to the true paradise, my daughter will be the mother of God. At about the exact time I began to speak, another voice drowned mine out. Quit screwing around. Return things to how they were before. Kaufman. Dr. Michael Kaufman stood there out of breath, as if he had just arrived in time. Did I ask for this? Nobody uses me. You won't get away with this. Your role is over. We don't need you anymore. What do you think you can accomplish by coming here? A smile appears on Kaufman's face, and he reaches into his pocket. My, aren't we getting cocky? Bet you can't see this and keep your cool. The item that Kaufman pulled out of his pocket was definitely the small bottle that I found in the gas tank of the motorcycle that was in that garage somewhere. I forget how to say this. A Glaufotis. Sure. I thought I got rid of that. All I had to do was plant it somewhere for you to find. You all, well, kept you busy. Ha, you're easy. And there's more where this came from. Stop it! Kaufman throws the small bottle at Alessa. All four of us watch the bottle fly in a beautiful parabola, our eyes fixed on the sacred liquid within. There's tension. Although she is normally calm and composed, that drug is enough to frighten Dahlia. That small bottle hit a part of Alessa's body, shattered into pieces, and soaked Alessa uncomfortably with the red liquid that was inside. Dahlia looks completely emaciated as she watches the whole thing. However, not me, nor anyone could have predicted the situation that came out of it, or out of that event. This fucking thing. Alessa's back splits open, and a giant creature that, and a giant creature the likes of which I have never seen before tears through the cloth of the one-piece dress Alessa is wearing. It looks like an insect breaking out of its cocoon as it is being born. It has large wings and a head like a bull, and with its green muscles swelling, it rose up and out of its mother's body, Alessa. And then it let out an earth shakingly brutal, evil cry and looked down at us. Huh? What the? I yelled, not addressing anyone in particular. What on earth? That's not supposed to. Kaufman just stands there in utter amazement as the events unfold unlike how he had expected. It's awakening! It's awakening! Now no one can interfere. Dahlia, in a fit of insanity, had a feeling that could not be described as pleasant or angry. Cheryl! I call my daughter's name one more time. Give up. That person no longer exists. This is a god, descended among us to reach out and save us. I edge up to Alessa, the mother's body that has been cast off, and there I see Cheryl, about to fade away as always. Thank you, Daddy. Goodbye. I'm certain that is what she said to me. Cheryl? Can't be. You can't leave like this. Cheryl is already beginning to run away from me. This can't be happening. Cheryl? Cheryl! I yell out. The figure of my daughter, who I have been searching for, gradually dissolves into the darkness, just like the figure I saw when I first arrived in Silent Hill. Cheryl! Wait! Then, electricity overflowed from the entire body of the creature that was born from Alessa, divided into several lightning bolts, struck above my head. I run about trying to escape. However, that band of electricity follows me, constantly appears in front of me. I've begun to sweat, and it is getting in my eyes. If I keep running about like this, I will be beaten. I vaguely think, even if it means that Cheryl will not come back, by killing this conceptually evil creature, the situation will clearly improve for the better. I ready my weapon. During the short time between the lightning strikes, I fire many bullets into the creature's body. During that short time from it spreads its large wings, it becomes ready to strike. I do not even think about seizing my attack. Cheryl's smile flits through the back of my mind. What was it that she wanted? When we decided to travel to Silent Hill, you were the one to suggest it, right, Cheryl? Called here? Did you wish to come here of your own will? Cheryl, I loved you more than anyone. I still do even now. That is the truth. However, I must bury this creature. I must make up for the sins that Cheryl took from me. Then, when the final bullet penetrated its body, it lost the means to keep its body together. And finally, the pieces of its body fell apart and dissolved into the darkness. It was completely gone. The large space begins to shake heavily. A loud, horrifying noise rises up from below. And with it, my existence is thrown from dimension to dimension. I feel pain just being there. Fire has broken out in various places in the area, and I can tell that this space as well as the entire town are on the verge of collapsing. Alessa lies on her stomach, in the center of the space. She shows no sign of moving from there. She is just protecting her entire body in a bird-like manner. She desperately holds out the new life that is just below her abdomen towards me. I run over to Alessa. Pained expression rises on Alessa's face as she hands the newborn baby to me. The hellfires burn with force and spread around. My life is threatened. There's not enough time left to try and rescue Alessa from here. I hold the baby she gave me tightly to my chest. I begin to run from this twisting space in search of somewhere safe. Do not look back. Why did Alessa entrust this small life born from her at the end to me? I have no idea. But I have a feeling that I am obligated to raise this child. Behind me, an explosion occurs. I run. All I can do is continue to run. Without looking back, I move forward, towards the ray of light that I have a faint glimpse of. Ta-da! Oi. Credit roll. Motorcycle. R.I.P. Light, very good. Eight? Wait, okay. Holy shit. Okay. So, wait. Did I get those for doing specific things, or did they just give them to me? Also, like, this was a Game Boy Advance game, so I can only assume that you can trade them? 32 cards. Okay. Interesting. Sure. I don't know what that was supposed to mean. Alright. Anyway. That's it. I'm gonna switch to the post screen so that I can close the emulator, because that intro music is going to continuously replay and it fucking hurts to listen to. So here we are here. I'm gonna close that real quick. Excellent. Going to play the music nice and quiet. So that was interesting. Nice little recap of the actual story. And it did give like a little bit of extra context to things that are mostly implied or provided through like reading everything in the original game. There's a lot of little things that are going to be relevant when we actually play Silent Hill 3 tomorrow. So, when I decided that I wanted to do a couple extra streams, I felt like this would be an appropriate one to precede Silent Hill 3. Otherwise, Silent Hill 3 will be happening at regular time tomorrow. Then I do have a little plan for Sunday as well, as I mentioned at the beginning. stoked about that one because it's another thing that I've never done before. So I'll keep that one to myself until we're actually there. But that's something to look forward to. All right, I'm gonna go rest my voice because wow, I've never spoken that consistently for that long before. I think ever in my life. So, all right, peace out.